Good morning and welcome to Medical Minutes, brought to you by Passavant Hospital. Today's topic is Passavant's Team Rehab. I'm Dr. Peter Russotto, your host and moderator. I have in the booth with me Kris Schwiderski, Coordinator of Team Rehab Services. Kris will help to educate all of us as to the exact role Team Rehab plays in the high schools and college athletics of our surrounding area. Kris is a certified athletic trainer. Thanks for coming, Kris, and we'll start with the first question. What exactly is Team Rehab?
Team Rehab is we try to say a full, comprehensive sports medicine program that we try to help out the athletes, the coaches, even the parents with student athletes that get some sort of an injury. If there's a way that maybe we can talk to them about some sort of a brace or taping them up, or just their different rehab that they can use with treatments and different things like that, and show them exercises so these little nagging injuries don't last very long of their season.
And that is both for the high school and college level, correct?
High school and college level, yes. We Team Rehab has a contract with McMurray College that we staff their facilities with athletic trainers. We do help out with Illinois College a little bit when they have multiple activities going on and they need some help.
So what actual services does Team Rehab provide in these high school and college athletics?
Every week, between myself and Brian Langen, one of our athletic trainers, we travel around to 15 area schools and check in with coaches, check in with kids, see what is maybe going on with some injuries or things that are bothering kids, show them exercises to do. If it's something on the more serious side, talk to them about getting in with their family physician. If it's something even more serious, the family physician can refer on to an orthopedic or where it would maybe need to go. We also cover a lot of games in the evenings, no matter what sports season it is. Now with volleyball, boys soccer at JHS, boys football everywhere, there's a lot of us out and around almost every night of the week, a lot of times.
So you cover a big geographic area, probably a good 60-mile radius from
Probably
Passavant?
Between 50 to 60, yes.
And you try to go to different schools each week, so it's not always the same school, correct?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, each school in our area they get a visit every week. Now, as far as the game coverage, yes, we try to spread ourselves out, so we're covering all of our area schools. And we kind of have the benefit of all the area schools. We're playing each other, so a lot of times we're catching, like Carrollton will play Greenfield, so we've got schools there, or Routt and Triopia. So we're getting a lot of our area schools because they play each other in all the sports anyway.
So is there any type of cost for this program?
This program's free. Probably a lot of people don't know that. When we started this years ago, we wanted it to be a huge community project and offer our services to the community and let them know that we're here for them. So no, most people probably think that there is a cost. Now, Passavant does pay me for my time, but the schools don't pay anything for our services.
So really the whole program is funded by Passavant then?
Yes.
So all the equipment that you bring to the games and everything?
All of our athletic training bags. We all have AEDs now with everything going on. All of our crutches and braces. Yes, Passavant Hospital has been very gracious.
So how many people are involved in Team Rehab, and what would you say their qualifications are?
Our staff, we have Monica and Trevor Huffman, both physical therapists and athletic trainers. We have myself, I'm an athletic trainer. Brian Langen is a certified athletic trainer. Jennifer Hodgerson, she's one of our physical therapists. She's from Greenfield, so she covers a lot of Greenfield football games for us. And then we also have Larissa Sorrells. She's a physical therapist and also an athletic trainer. And her sister, Jessica Lewis, she's a certified athletic trainer, and they cover some Beardstown things for us, along with helping out with a lot of JHS and other local things going on.
Is there a way that maybe a parent or a player or a coach sometimes contacts you during the week for a question or a consultation?
Oh, yes. We get calls in the rehab department all the time. And if I'm not in, we take a message and I'll get back with them as quickly as I can. Most of the coaches around the area, I think, have my cell phone number. And a lot of parents actually give me calls too.
So they can actually call, though, during the week at Passavant Rehab if they have a question about maybe a certain exercise, brace, etc.?
Yes.
And what is that number and extension so the listening audience knows this?
For rehab services, it's the hospital number, 217-245-9541, and the rehab extension is 3397.
And that's Monday through Friday, approximately, what, 8 to 5 or something?
8 to 5, yes.
Uh-huh. And I'm sure if they leave a message, like you said, you can always get back to them in case there was you weren't there or aren't available at the present time.
Most days I have at least 2 or 3 messages that if I'm not there, I'll have 2 or 3 messages I have to get back with people, and it's no problem.
Now that we're really into the football season, just going to be starting, and of course soccer too, concussion, brain injuries, big topic in high school athletics and college athletics, and even going into the pros. With this increase in attention to concussions over the last several years, what is Team Rehab doing for the athletes and the schools and the parents?
We're really trying to educate the student athletes, the parents, the coaches, that when these things are sustained, it still is the same injury that was way back, but we can't just blow it off and call it that I got my bell rung or I got a dinger. It's like you mentioned, it's a brain injury. Personally, I would really wish we could get rid of the word concussion because that still kind of leads people that, it's nothing serious. But again, it's that brain gets sloshed around. But we try to do a lot of education with anybody involved and try to tell them, hey, this is the way a progression goes once something is sustained, and we just monitor and watch everything and make sure that the student athlete is going to be safe in returning to their sports.
Yeah, because it's a cumulative effect also on the brain. We're finding out it's the more concussions you have, the more severity of the long-term sequela or complications can be.
Yes.
And I don't mean to say just because you've had one that there's a false sense of security. They can all be very serious, and they are serious, but it's the repetitive ones that we want to really avoid.
Oh, yes. Yes. Many repetitive minor ones, if we want to say minor, are going to equal a more severe one.
And the IHSA has become very proactive, and same with a lot of the college conferences. Is there a specific program that an athlete has to go through, whether it be on the high school or college level, to begin to be cleared to return to play?
Well, once they are symptom-free with just normal daily activities, going to school, getting up, just all their normal daily type activities, once they're headache-free for a good 24 hours, then you can start somewhat of a process of where you just kind of let them jog and see what happens. Or even I had a young boy this week that said he was headache-free, and we kind of walked out to the practice field, and all of a sudden the sun came out and hit him in his eyes, and he's like, oh, boy, that's giving me a headache. I said, okay, we're not going to jog today then. Because if that didn't affect somebody beforehand, that's not normal.
But don't they also have to be cleared by a physician before they can get back onto the field and in any sport?
Cleared by a physician, and it'd be great with us being Team Rehab. We try to work with the physicians, let them make the final decision, but we can run kids through the progression to get them back to their contact type sports or whatever the sport may be, because a concussion can happen anywhere, but we do see more with soccer and football due to the contact.
So do you guys also put them through some cognitive, like memory test also to make sure?
We really use a lot of, it's called the King-Devick test. A lot of it is memory, recall, different type things there. I know there's a lot of the programs out there that are computer-based. Those would be nice to have, but there's also the cost factor involved with some of those things. But sometimes our paper and pencil tests are just as good as those. So we do use those in case something happens, and we can do. Some of our schools, we're talking to them about trying to do some preseason testing
to
get a baseline so we know if something happens, and we run the student athlete through the test again, and you kind of compare how they did pre and post.
Now, say a parent notices something from their son, daughter at night, maybe after the actual sporting event. What would you say for them to do at that point?
If their symptoms and condition seems like it's worsening, they probably really need to get things checked out and go to the hospital or a prompt care type situation. It's nothing to mess with because your brain is inside that hard skull. We really don't know what's going on in there. It's not like an ankle that when you sprain those ligaments and they bleed and it swells up, you can't tell the swelling on the inside of the skull.
Correct, and that's what I want to get out to the public, because sometimes kids will seem okay during the game, a little bit fuzzy, but maybe an hour or two later, if they have some swelling or brain bleed, or God forbid, that's a critical situation. So don't blow it off or think, well, they'll be all right tomorrow. A lot of times people just say put a little ice on the back of the neck, which is not a bad idea, but still get proper medical attention.
Oh yeah, it's like when you first started. It's a brain injury. Your brain controls your body, so if you have something serious going on, we need to really find out what's going on and take care of it correctly the first time we can.
Well, this has been a real good conversation, and there's been a lot of good ideas tossed about, but is there anything else you might want to add to the listening audience?
I would just want the audience to know that Team Rehab is available to help out with everything related to sports. We're interested in helping with anything we can. We're here to help the student athletes, help the area, help the coaches, help parents, everything. I mean, if there's some educational programs that people are interested in, we are actually talking about maybe trying to start having something, a couple times a year on different topics that are related to a lot of what we see with our athletics.
Well, it sounds like it's a great program. It's been going on for quite some time, and I want to thank you, Kris, for coming, and thanks for listening, and